There will be spoilers ahead. Lots of spoilers, so be careful, won't you?
Mac and Me, why not watch Mac and Me? Can't you see, it's so much like E.T. No candy, but we've got Coca-Cola. Ronald McDonald's here. What nobody told. Yeah, okay, I'll stop. Please come back. Thank you. Yes,
thank you, fan.
Yes, in this week's episode of But an Incredible Simulation, we're talking about a 6 years late tribute to E.T. called Mac and Me, as the song might have implied. Or maybe it should be called Big Mac and Me, am I right?
Uh-huh.
You'll see why soon, I'm sorry.
No, I hope you don't.
Oops. But for now, I'm your host, Max, King of Burgers, Levine, and over there, the egg to my roll, the pineapple to my pizza, the cheese to my Mac. See what I did there? Mike Luce, what song do you have prepared for us this week, Mike?
I love mac and cheese, and I love pineapple and pizza. That's my song. Ta-da!
That's all right. I believe people like you can be helped.
I'm glad there's one person who does.
But before we get to this masterpiece, we asked you a poll question last week, and now you answered.
Poll question.
Harriet Roberts just posted a picture.
Hey, you didn't tell us what the question was.
Well, it's not important.
Yes, it is.
It would take a scientist to explain.
Good, because we haven't got one.
Last week, we asked you, what is your favorite cinematic space alien? Harriet Roberts just posted a picture of Paul, the alien Paul from the movie Paul. A lot of fun. Nick Hoffman said, Santa Claus! No, seriously, gotta be the thing itself, closely followed by the alien from Aliens. And excuse me, Nicholas, but Santa Claus is not the space alien, and Santa Claus conquers the Martians. He is clearly kidnapped by the space aliens. Amber Stevens writes, E.T.
Oh, well.
Should watch that.
Yeah, maybe someday. Maybe last week's episode, say our entire episode on E.T.
Jessica Miller chimes in with another vote for Paul.
Yay.
And Dave says, obviously, the beach ball in Dark Star mocks the whole concept. He's right. Mocks the whole concept, though I thought it was cute. So did Pinback. Sorry, he isn't Pinback. I enjoy Londo from Babylon 5. Oh, yeah. I think he has some depth and both tragic and comic potential at the same time. Data isn't an alien, although I love the character, and Worf, who cracks me up, is one joke over and over. What should we do? Attack!
The problem is he's usually right.
That's the problem. We should put up our shields. No, let's
Mr.
not
Wolf. We shall say hello instead. Hello. Blam!
Crap.
Dave then said I wanted to go with Howard the
Duck, but I think you were asking about movies. That was a movie. I know we don't like to talk about it, think about it, or admit it exists, but it was a movie.
Oh, Lucas has a lot to answer for. Dave then added Marvin the Martian also.
Comes to mind. And of course, I love the Ultraman commercials where you could not stay in the atmosphere long enough to eat instant ramen noodles because they take 3 minutes to cook.
Well, that's how long the beta capsule only works for 1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that. Okay.
No, I think it's 1 minute in like Ultraman can take the form of he can take the place of the guy who turns into Ultraman, but then when the beta capsule gives up and the little blue light starts beeping, that means Ultraman has to leave.
More about Ultraman than any of you ever wanted to know.
Hey, kept the fight short.
It did. Bruce Herr Jr. says, the Romulans. All of them, apparently.
Put them together and make one big Romulan.
I got to say, I kind of dig the female Romulan commander who tries to seduce Spock.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Forsythe says, Shatterstar. No, wait, Mr. Spock. Ah! Blue. No, yeah. Ah!
Shatterstar, really? Okay.
Val Coons says, I have to go with Mr. Spock. He was my first alien. Whoa, jeez.
I don't think she meant that. I meant she meant on TV.
Oh. Derek Steele says that guy from District 9. I think he means Vicus.
Yeah.
The guy who turns into a prawn.
Boy, real quick, that was an amazing film.
Oh, it is.
Amazing film. And what a commentary on the issues going on down there. But not one I want to see again.
Yeah, not fun to watch. Adam Mark, our scholar, says, Max, yes? Oh, sorry, Max, the personification of the Trimaxian drone ship from Flight of the Navigator, 1986.
I never saw it.
I haven't either. It's one of those movies I keep meaning to see. I never have.
Huh.
Well-meaning aliens from the planet Phalon abduct and benignly study the protagonist's child, David. Experiencing time dilation, 8 years have passed on Earth, but not for David, for whom the experience was almost instantaneous. Putting him back on Earth, David discovers he was presumed abducted and dead, and his little brother is now a young man, much older than David. Reams of alien data have been implanted in David's brain. NASA finds out and seeks to make him a captive guinea pig. Max, our, quote, alien, unquote, is the spaceship, not the alien race that made him, but he is earnest, patient, forthright, wants what is best for David, and gives him the only support and respect as they figure out a way to get both Max and David to their respective homes. It's a charming buddy movie and still holds up. Some of the first CGI in film ever used. One of the first all-electric music scores, plus a young Sarah Jessica Parker. And okay, that was
Why do I have this feeling you typed it out like that?
I did not.
I bet you did.
And just like that, an amazing adventure movie of earnest, uncynical characters who are unapologetic in their wonder of the universe, which cinema seldom seems to make anymore. See you later, Navigator.
Wow.
Interesting. I'm actually kind of tempted to see that, although it sounds awfully dark.
If it has non-cynical characters in it, it can't be that dark. Well,
Jamie Kleinert simply says, Stitch!
Well,
sure,
I have
why
to
not?
go. My dog found the chainsaw.
Harry McCracken simply posted a picture of Marvin the Martian.
Oh, there you go.
Which personally made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
Did it?
No, not at all. Dr. Professor Rebecca Pelkey said, I'm going to add Deanna Troi, which will be an unpopular opinion. Ooh. I imagine. By the way, there's a great article over at the Mary Sue, a spirited defense of Deanna Troi, with which I wholeheartedly agree. And Gamora, who just kicks arse. Very British of you.
She did.
Yes, she did. Got to have some lady aliens in the mix. Absolutely true.
Yeah, Deanna Troi, the big problem, this is the same problem I had with Wesley Crusher. Actually very interesting characters, generally very poorly written.
Wasn't really their fault. It was,
not at all.
They were given just awful dialogue.
And there's episodes, I swear, that Deanna Troi's not there because if she was there, we're not going to have any episode because she would have figured out in the first 30 seconds, Captain, they're lying. And
all right, let's leave.
Yeah, so, that's a good one.
Yeah. Ralph Smith throws in another vote for The Thing. Although I don't know which one. Ralph, which one was it? Was it like the one from the 1950s
Is
movie?
it one from The Thing or The Thing?
Yeah. So the thing on the thing with the guy.
And the stuff.
And of course, from the frozen tundra and wastelands of the post-apocalyptic world that is Canada, we have Vince. Says Klaatu is likely my favorite alien.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what a good choice.
What a great choice.
Michael Rennie is so good and does so many little things, like smiling when he figures out how the flashlight works, like he had never seen one before. If the alien in Alien is a character, I don't see why not. I would include that as well. I saw Alien at a preview showing, and everyone there was ready to laugh at it. Some people were so scared and grossed out they left. Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
It was truly something alien, and I was totally amazed by it.
Huh. Yeah, so those who have not seen the original, not the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, it is an amazing film for a number of reasons, one of which is it portraying an alien in something other than a bug-eyed monster, and it's doing it in the 50s. So it's a really interesting. I think Robert Wise actually directed that, the guy who did West Side Story.
I think that's right,
among other things.
It's just also just a really good example of movie making.
Yeah.
But see our entire episode on The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we done that.
Yeah.
But Mike, Who's your favorite space alien bug-eyed monster guy?
I mean, really, there's only one. It stands above all the rest, all joking aside, blah, 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 blah. I have to go with Droppo.
The laziest man on Mars?
Yes, from Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Yes, Droppo.
Okay, well, that's Mike's answer. So with me...
A nature that says, aren't you the 8th Marx brother, twice removed or something? Yeah, something. No, it is not.
Beppo.
I'm going to go with Spock, and I mean the original Spock, none of the ne'er-do-wells that may have come after. Well, here's the problem. The character was so embodied by Leonard Nimoy. One might even say that he was playing himself. And I know some people who would. And in some cases, I think that's fair. The thing is he was very passionate about that character. And pretty much everything that we knew about Vulcans in the original show came from him. And one of the writers, DC Fontana. She wrote Amok Time and stuff like that.
Yep.
And she was, between the two of them, they really... just design an entire race.
But wait. DC Fontana was a lady?
Yes. She
I know.
Went by DC because she was afraid people would do exactly what you just did. That.
Yes, literally.
So I got to go with the original Spock. Now, I'm not trying to denigrate
not
any of the
Spock
actors.
Or not new Spock or extra crispy Spock?
No. The problem is that I feel that in a lot of cases that what's going on now, some of it plays towards caricature, and I don't find that it's really adding anything to a character we already know. I just think it's honestly, in most cases, we have to have Spock. It's like, no, you don't. Not all of, but most of Next Generation didn't, and it did just fine. So, I don't know. But how about you, Max? Who's your favorite alien character?
Well, I got one. I don't know if people will sort of allow it, because he also falls into another category, but honestly, Superman.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is an alien, and he's been portrayed so many times, and in a lot of very different, very interesting ways.
Yeah, some not so interesting.
And some that are just downright terrible. But I really like the idea of he's set up not just as an alien, but as the ultimate immigrant. That's what who was it? I'm blanking on the two guys who created him.
Siegel and Schuster.
Thank you. And when they created him, they were both children of Jewish immigrants. They decided to create a fantasy immigrant story.
Well, I mean, he's Space Moses, right?
Yeah, he's Space Jesus too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
that came later.
That's later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason we mostly forget he's an alien is he's white.
Yeah.
And he looks like us.
And it's true. He was also
just
raised
like
here. Excuse me, Droppo is green.
That's true.
Yes, honestly, my favorite alien is Cho-Chum.
We need a Santa Claus on Mars.
No one must ever know that Santa Claus was kidnapped by Martians. Did you hear what you just said?
You remember, you spell it SantaClaus. Hooray for Santa Claus. Yeah. Well,
beyond that, my other one, I got to say, is Zaphod Beeblebrox. He's just so much fun, and he's just so... utterly, if there's anything on this ship more important than my ego, I want it hunted down and shot right now.
Well, he is so hip, he has trouble seeing over his pelvis, and so cool, you could keep us out of beefing him for a month.
Yep.
So, and the 3 arms, and he only had the 2 arms and the 2 eyes, and he called himself Phil. But yeah. Good answer. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. You too. And all of you, great answers. This was terrific. And so, we want more from you. We are a never-ending hunger. Galactus hungers for poll questions.
I hunger.
And so does Sinistar, yeah. Now, this question, I don't know, had some vague connection to this movie. Maybe you'll pick it up. What movie has the absolute most egregious product placement you can remember? The kind that just took you right out of the movie. Although in some cases, being taken out of the movie is not a bad thing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But now, let's get to things about the movie. The facts.
Hey, before we get to Trivia, Max, would you like some Skittles?
No, but I sure am thirsty for Coke.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I know. Yeah.
Please, Trivia, by all means.
Taste the rainbow, mother.
You're going to be tasting the rainbow for the next week, if you know what I mean.
Oddly enough, you know the new Shazam movie, Wrath of the Gods or Wrath of Khan or whatever?
Yeah, whatever. Wrath of Shazam.
There is actually a line, taste the rainbow mother effer in it.
Oh, well, that's because there's different colored Shazams.
No, it's worse than that. Anyway.
It's worse than
that. Yes.
Suppository. Our word for today is suppository. Anyway, please, trivia about Mac and me. I'm dying.
Yes.
I really am.
Yeah, and
real quick, too. Sorry about my voice, folks. It's just the way it is. I have no idea why. Max, please go ahead.
Mike finally went through puberty this week. Proud. Budget. Yes, they had... This, when I think of how many, I don't know, how much garbage could be removed from the ocean or how many homeless people could be housed, $13 million.
What?
Yes. Now, and this is 1988 money.
I disagree.
$13 million they spent. How much did it make?
What? Oops.
And what did they make? $6.4 million.
That much.
Mwop, 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 mwop. Yeah, that is a flop. This was written and directed by, of course, the great Stuart Raphael. Mm-hmm. You have any idea who he is?
Well, here's the thing. In general, no, but he did give us things like Mannequin on the Move.
Yeah, the second Mannequin movie.
He also one, because the first one was so good.
Yeah, no, what he's best to me, what I will always remember him for is Ice Pirates.
Yeah.
Which is one of, we may have to do that someday, that is one of the worst science fiction movies out there.
Yeah, he did that. He also did a film that I understand why other people don't like, but I actually liked, was a film called The Philadelphia Experiment.
Oh, he did that?
Yeah,
that was
right after Ice Pirates. Yeah,
he also did Passenger 57.
Tammy and the T-Rex. The new Swiss Family Robinson. Yeah. The new Adventures of Robin Hood.
Yeah, stop reading his IMDb page.
Well, I want people to know so they can decide for themselves.
The young actor who plays Eric, who has the odd name of Jade Caligari, actually has spina bifida and uses a wheelchair in real life. Mm-hmm. I have got to give the movie its 1 point.
Oh, giving you a win, Max. You're supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, give it a point for using an actual disabled actor to play a disabled character. 1988, this wasn't that common.
Nope.
He has done this movie, 1 episode of a show called Kids Incorporated, and a small part in one of the 50 or so Alien Nation TV movies. That's all.
Well, I wonder why that is. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Now, this will come... okay, Mike, you might want to take a sedative to overcome the shock of this, but Coca-Cola and McDonald's were 2 of the major backers of this movie.
What?
I'll give you a minute to recover yourself. Done? Good. And thus, there are 1 or 2 references to the products. The McDonald's scenes were all shot in... I didn't know this was a real place. City of Industry, California. I've heard that mentioned. I thought it was a joke.
They get a lot done.
Yeah, just outside Los Angeles. The sets are real-life McDonald's built specifically for crew member training and TV commercials.
Oh.
Everything inside worked, but it never served a real customer. When it wasn't being used, it was locked up behind a chain-link fence. And let's pour one out because it was torn down and rebuilt in 2006.
Sad.
Part of the film's box office intake, such as it was donated to the Ronald McDonald House Charities.
That's cool.
This film was nominated for 4 Razzies.
Did it win any?
It did, including Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Screenplay, and Worst New Star for Ronald McDonald.
As himself.
And that's what it won. It won for Worst New Star, Ronald McDonald. It lost for Worst Picture to Cocktail.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I thought people liked... Wasn't that Brian Brown and Tom Cruise?
Yes, it was.
I thought people liked that movie.
Not that much, apparently.
Oh, well.
Also, yes, that was also more or less for the gratuitous product placements.
Oh.
MAC, if you missed it, because he only says it once, is an acronym for Mysterious Alien Creature. Yeah. The film ends with a freeze frame and the superimposed title, We'll Be Back, which was more of a threat than a promise, but it was such a box office failure that, so far, The proposed, hey, you never know, the proposed sequel was never made.
Let's do a Kickstarter.
This, by the way, in a blink and you'll miss it moment, is Jennifer Aniston's film debut.
What?
Yeah. She is Girl Sitting on Sidewalk.
You know, she had such presence.
She really did.
I knew
She
something
made that
was going to
scene.
happen with her.
Yeah, yeah.
God.
In a review in the Washington Post, Richard Harrington wrote, quote, "In fact, Mac and Me could just as well have been called OT, the other terrestrial.
Or testicle.
Forget about calling home E.T. Cole lawyer."
Yeah, we'll get to that part.
When Steven Spielberg was asked if he was ever tempted to take legal action against the filmmakers for copying the story of his beloved film E.T., he jokingly said he didn't want to get blamed for making anybody else watch it in order to make comparisons.
You stole that from my trivia last week.
Well, it was on the page anyway. It bears repeating.
This movie doesn't. Oops.
No. Way to give it away there. The close shot of Eric as he slides off the hill and falls into a lake below mirrors a similar scene from Predator the year before, where Schwarzenegger slides and falls into a river. By the way, the same guy who composed the music for Predator, Alan Silvestri, did the music for Mac and Me.
Did he?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah. There is a weird running gag that involves Paul Rudd. Whenever he would appear on the show Late Night with Conan O'Brien, when that was still on, he would pretend to have brought a clip from his newest film, but he would always instead show the scene from Mac and Me of Eric rolling off the cliff and falling into the water. He has done this joke for years, even up to when he was promoting Ant-Man.
Good for him.
And Conan, the first time he did it, Conan was caught completely by surprise because Rudd spun this really long, involved story about this non-existent project he claimed to be working on. And then he played the clip. And Conan gets caught flat-footed every time. So it's something useful did come out of this movie. Oops!
Stop that.
Probably one or two other things, but not really. It's just not that interesting.
No.
So let's get to the plot.
Please.
See last week. So moving on.
That's not true.
Okay. A NASA probe lands somewhere, kind of looks like Wyoming, and uses its Acme vacuum hose attachment to accidentally suck up a family of 4 turd-colored aliens, which it then somehow transports back to Earth. The youngest of the aliens gets separated and befriends a young boy in a wheelchair who has moved with his single mom and brother to generic California suburb. And is this sounding a little familiar? Well, it's not. For one thing, the alien loves Coca-Cola, not Reese's Pieces, so there. This kid is in a wheelchair. He doesn't ride a bike. Completely different.
Doesn't fly either.
And Ronald McDonald shows up, and there's an 80s dance party, so... Okay, some of this really is entirely unlike that unnamed movie we talked about last week, but there's mysterious government guys in gray suits without guns or walkie-talkies who are really, really bad at their jobs. And did I mention Ronald McDonald is in this?
Yes.
Oh, and I think the Papa Alien is Horny Jesus or something.
What?
Yeah.
The facts.
Wait, where did that last part come from?
Well, he raises the dead, and there is that sequence where they pull into the gas station, and he is seriously hitting or macking on or staring at this teenage girl in the next car.
I must have missed that part. Maybe I was puking or something.
Or asleep, yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I would like to point out one of the mistakes this movie makes for right off is we see the aliens in full daylight. Yeah. And, this was 6 years after E.T., and apparently none of the effects improved.
I'm actually going to disagree with you there.
Really?
The opening of the film admittedly starts with a very nice painting somewhere in space.
Yes.
But I don't like the design of the aliens. The faces are just, butt ugly is being kind. The fact that they look like they all just ate an entire lemon is an interesting choice, shall we say.
Their mouths all look like they're little Oral Annie dolls.
Oh, dear.
Yep.
Very little Oral Annie.
Yep.
I suppose it's better than Resusca Annie. But Actually, I didn't see zippers. I actually thought the suits were fairly well constructed. I just think they were poorly designed.
Okay, that's fair.
And there is a lot of movement in the heads for the 3 older aliens. The Mac is a puppet, and he's not a very good puppet.
They also make a lot of mistakes with the stop motion with Mac. There are several points where they're doing stop motion and they have moving cars in the background.
Oops.
And you can see the car movement stutter as they're stopping and starting. It's very distracting.
I also thought that the alien probe, which isn't alien, it's ours, so the American probe, was actually pretty realistic looking and reasonable, except for the vacuum
tube, which was right out of Acme.
Well, it's not the tube so much is the way that they depicted it working, which is turning the aliens two-dimensional, stretching them out like a rubber band, and then sucking them into a space that none of them could have fit into on their own. It's not the last cartoon special effect we're going to get, and that really added to the drama. Yeah. And there's also one other choice they made before we get too far away from the aliens that I thought was highly questionable. The aliens don't talk. They can only whistle.
Well, their mouths are permanently puckered.
Yes, and this told me from the beginning that this is going to be a long movie. Because if there's one thing people like, it's whistling.
Oh, yeah, yeah. However, we do often start off talking about the cast.
Yes.
And I'd like to get to one of these people last, the mom.
Okay, yeah, I bet I know why, but that's okay.
So, the kid who plays Eric, Jade...
Yep.
You're not supposed to say bad things about disabled people. He's a kid. He's not an actor. He's just not.
That is true. Nope, he's not. He is really not good.
No.
His expressions don't often match his emotions. He has delivery worse than DHL in a thunderstorm. Just not good.
Yeah.
And I know what you're saying, but here's the thing. The other way to look at this is we shouldn't treat people who have
that is true
challenges differently.
Yep.
And if I want to treat him the same way I'd treat any other actor, I'd get somebody else. Oh. Now, point said, I also definitely like the fact that they chose somebody who has challenges for the role, and it wasn't just some kid stuck in a wheelchair. Like it wasn't fake, because that would have been...
That was a nice touch.
But...
The other kid, Debbie, who I kept thinking of as Little Debbie in the entire movie, she's terrible.
She's better than he is.
She's a little better. She at least, you get the feeling she's trying to be funny with her. Now, admittedly, she is somewhat hampered by the dialogue, which isn't funny.
Or the direction.
Or the direction, which is non-existent.
No. But I'm going to guess that she didn't do much after this because she is one of those I don't have a photo on IMDb people.
Yeah, no, Stanley does not have a great list of credits. I believe she has a total of 4.
Well, the one who played her sister, Courtney, Tina Caspary, she was barely even there. I'm not even sure I can judge her performance. She was so barely there.
She had nothing to do. I mean, she wasn't, which made her, she wasn't awful, but yeah, no idea.
I literally think we can't judge because there's nothing to judge.
There's nothing to judge. There's nothing to base any kind of criticism on. Jonathan Ward, who plays the big brother, Michael. Again, by the way, you notice Michael is the same name as the big brother in E.T.
What?
Shock, isn't it?
Well, he would actually get better because he would be a star in things like Charles in Charge and the Beauty and the Beast TV series and Who's the Boss. Interestingly, he was in Steel Magnolias, so we'll give him that. On Fern Gully, yeah. So I don't know if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt or not because the directing and the writing was so bad. I honestly think there was a lot of improvised scenes. At least I hope there were.
I get that feeling too. Not the least of which because it's often kind of hard to understand what they're saying because they obviously haven't been coached in the pronunciation and they're just riffing.
Well, there's one line that I actually wrote down as a quote from this movie because I was just so flummoxed by how little sense it made. It's early on when they're driving to their new home.
Yeah.
They've been sleeping and the mom wakes them up and Michael says, "Hey, look at all those cars. This looks pretty nice." And his mother says,
what?
"It does look pretty." Exactly.
What?
They're on the freeway, and all they see is cars. Apparently, where they come from, they don't have any.
Yeah, in the wilderness that is Chicago, or at least or Illinois. We don't know if they're from Chicago, except one of them wears a Cubbies hat.
Yeah, and has a Cubs. Well, we'll get to
the line that got me is when they're unpacking, and Michael is doing the horny teenager, gonna meet some California babes, and he says, "Your hormonal hero is here."
Yeah.
That is both offensive and meaningless.
Yeah. Just, hey, look at all those cars. This looks pretty nice. If it wasn't for that horse, I never would have got through that year of college. If you like Lewis Black, check out Lewis Black. That's where that's from.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and hang on, we get now to the most puzzling there's other people in this movie, it doesn't matter.
Yes, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't. Most of them don't have many lines. I don't know what they're doing. Christine Ebersol plays Janet, the mother.
Okay, I did not know her in particular. When she came on, I'm like, oh, I bet she is this character. She is totally this character. Did she make you think she'd played the grocery witch in Magical Disappearing Money?
Yes, a little bit, but that's just because of her hair.
I looked it up, and it's not her, but they look so alike.
Christine Ebersol is a name. She is a Tony-winning Broadway actress.
And
she has done tons of stuff. She was married to the television great Duncan Ebersol.
She was also in one of your favorite shows, Steven Universe.
Yes, she was. She is the voice of White Diamond.
Yep.
And she is awesome.
Yep.
I just figured she was fairly young. She must have needed the money. Someone had photo negatives she didn't want getting out. I don't know.
I think her part is just kind of bizarre because she's moved. They move into, quite honestly, a really nice house.
Seriously, it's gorgeous. By the way, again, that suburb looked really familiar. It looked exactly to me like the one from E.T. and the one from Poltergeist.
It actually looked to me like the Bradys lived nearby.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised.
But they moved to this really nice house because Dad has left them just exactly like it happened in E.T.
Wait, do we know he left?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that. I didn't know what happened to Dad.
Yeah, we don't dwell on the fact that he's off having fun somewhere else and camping or fishing or whatever it is. But well, to be fair, they don't say he didn't. They don't say he died. They don't say he left. But it seemed like he left. They don't seem like real sad that he's dead. They just seem like. Well, actually, they don't seem like anything.
No.
Quite honestly,
I don't.
There's a photo
we don't
with
know.
Dad.
We see a photo. That's it.
Bet you it's the director.
Yeah.
So they moved to this wonderful house, this amazing house that anyone would die to have. And that's because Mom got a new job. That's why they moved halfway across the country. And where does she work?
Where America shops.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore, no.
But we don't even get the idea she's an executive.
Oh, it looks like she's a floor worker.
Yeah. That sounds like a euphemism.
that's street worker.
That was floor walker. Well, that's not any better. I know it's a real term, but there we go.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. We don't know how she's affording it. Also, I'm a little surprised they make a big deal out of how wheelchair accessible the house is.
Yeah.
The bathroom is definitely not.
No.
Bathroom is a death trap.
It's wheelchair accessible in that it is a ranch.
Yeah,
that's as far as it goes. And handily has a cliff outside the back.
Yeah, and is on a huge hill.
Yeah. Well,
like a bad idea.
I know it's a bad idea, but depending on how much of a daredevil the kid is, he actually might really like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true.
But, yeah, the acting is second only to the writing, which I think is, yeah. I would actually give a little vote here for the cinematography because this has got that weird 80s thing where everything is brightly lit from every direction all the time.
There's no shadows anywhere. I don't know how they did that.
There is no sense of place, of time. Even when it's nighttime, everything's lit up pretty well.
Yeah.
Or it's just, I don't know, it's bad. For want of a better word, the cinematography is bad.
Yeah. By the way, this is also one of those movies. In E.T., nobody sees E.T. because E.T. is really good at hiding. He's very stealthy. He's very good at blending in. This, Mac obviously subscribes to the Scooby-Doo method of hiding, which is like standing directly behind someone, peeking over their shoulder, and then when they turn, they're behind the other shoulder. The whole thing.
Yeah.
people in this movie have terrible eyesight. They either don't see him walk directly in front of them, or they see him, they do the classic head shake, take off their sunglasses, put them back on, then he's gone. And I kept waiting for someone to take out a bottle marked booze, drop it, and close their eyes, hold up their hand, and do the taking the oath thing.
Give the pledge. Yeah. I pledge never to see this movie
Yeah.
again. Oops. There it goes again. Man, I
Yeah.
got to stop doing that. I want to say also, going back to the beginning, that is the shortest interplanetary mission I've ever seen. I think
Seriously?
that probe was on the planet for about 90 seconds.
Also, I'd like to point out, in 1988, we did not have unmanned robotic probes. No, nor did we, and I don't even know if we have this now, ones that could land and then come back.
Yeah. There's this thing called fuel. Also, it had to have been within our solar system.
It had to
'Cause-
be.
Also, even if it was, like, even if it just went to Mars, and it was pretty obvious that it was supposed to be like a moon of Saturn or something,
Going with Wyoming.
it would be years.
Yeah.
Those aliens are dead.
Yes.
For many, many reasons, those aliens are dead. D-E-D, dead.
You notice there's a little self-awareness of the rip-off factor, because did you see the cartoon the kid keeps watching?
You know, I did miss it.
No, you didn't. He's watching Snorks,
Oh,
which was
yes,
a
I did
rip-off of
see
the
it.
Smurfs.
Yeah. There's a little theme going on there, a little rip-off theme.
There, yeah.
Yeah, so they get to the probe lands, and then, oh, there's something wrong with it. Here's something that most people should know about space. The reason that you can't take anything with you is that the amount of fuel it takes to move any mass from the planet into
calibrated
space.
down to the gram.
And so they're like, well, there's a weight problem. Well, yeah, there's 4 aliens on board this cardboard box.
That's okay, because they've been rendered into cartoon form, and cartoons have no mass.
Sure, whatever. But then they break out, and everyone literally, all the scientists and all the security people literally spend the next 5 minutes going, and they,
Yeah.
oh, well, I guess they're leaving. They're walking out. I guess we'll just let them
Oh no,
go.
they're walking slowly away. Well, we can't possibly stop them.
They just literally walk
Nothing.
into the rest of the film, and nothing gets in the way.
No.
Nothing at all.
And it
So-
takes them a remarkably long time to find these 4 naked aliens in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't know how they procreate, because there's nothing keeping us from seeing that. Yeah, the
Yeah,
little aliens. I have this bad feeling it has something to do with that whistling, but yeah. You mentioned that the guy who wrote the score to Predator. I remember the music in Predator actually being pretty good.
Well, apparently that was all he had in him. Although actually Alan Silvestri, I think, has a pretty good track record. I guess he was just coasting, because even the music, several points, you can hear stuff that's clearly a ripoff of the E.T. theme.
Well, except for me, and I actually went and looked this up to make sure that I wasn't hearing things. Every time they start playing the theme to this movie, I kept expecting the Donna Reed show to start. And if you go listen to the theme to the Donna Reed show, it'll sound hauntingly familiar.
Okay, I believe it. Of course, that is not taking into account the songs.
Yes. Well, now, Max,
boy.
you have to admit this is not often known by younger people, but sudden outbreaks of dancing were quite common in the 80s.
Yes. I mean, they drive into a parking lot at one point they're going to a birthday party at a McDonald's, because people do that, apparently.
Well, they did. Not like that.
No. They've got Mac disguised as a gigantic teddy bear.
Sure.
Again, bad eyesight. No one seems to notice the teddy bear can move.
Oh, it's a toy.
It's a robot. Yeah.
It's like Teddy Ruxpin, except, of course, everyone knows Teddy Ruxpin was, in fact, possessed.
evil. And they drive into a sudden attack of the 80s.
Oh, boy, is it an attack.
Oh, boy.
It's an all-out front.
It is. There's boom boxes. There's feathered hair. There's break dancing. Oh, the break dancing.
Well, hey, it actually
terrible,
gave reason
terrible
for there to be
music.
people of color in the...
Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason. Yeah, that they use. And yes, Ronald McDonald or some...
No, it's
bear-
him.
Oh, what do you mean?
The credit. You didn't see the
That's
credit?
true. The credit says Ronald McDonald as himself.
It's the real one.
It was the real one. Yes.
Hey, here's a bit of trivia. You know
Yeah.
who played the original Ronald McDonald?
I used to. I don't.
King Moody. You may know him as
jeez.
Staka from Get
God.
Schmocked. Yes, I don't know why I know that because stupid. Yeah,
But
there's
in McDonald's.
there's this dancing and stuff, and everyone buys the toy robot or toy bear thing for reasons. But even weirder, so we have this scene in this film where the bad guys, the two, because they can only afford two, although they had what $16 million for this.
Yep, 13. Yeah.
13, whatever. So they're trying to find the alien because they know there's at least one missing. How they can't find the other three, I don't know. But they're going through a neighborhood, and one of them says, "Oh, we found him." How?
Yeah, this isn't even like they've got the sneaky van that's listening. It's just the two of them in, what was that, a Pinto? Or
I think they just literally heard somebody talking about another being or another person, and it's like, oh, it's this place. It's based on nothing.
Nothing.
But then they show up to the McDonald's because there's this chase scene thing, and they somehow immediately know that the alien must be in the teddy bear suit, because if anybody danced like that, they've got to be an alien.
yeah.
Whatever. And then the chase scene starts after that, which is, hey, at least in the beginning of the film, we get a hilarious 3-car pileup. Oh, those are so funny.
There is a remarkable amount of property damage in this movie, especially compared to E.T., including a guy who spontaneously in his car catches fire.
Well, that is funny. But there's your $13 million, all the property damage.
Yeah.
You mentioned the product placement and how painful it is. It is, because there's a lot of Coke. I actually love the fact that Skittles play a very large role in the product placement, except no one ever eats them.
And you notice when Debbie is offering the Skittles to Max, she's holding the bag upside down.
I just love it. It's like they literally pass the bag of Skittles in front of the camera.
Obviously, Skittles gave them like $20. I think that was it.
But yeah, nobody eats them. They don't play any part in the plot at all. It's just like, we're going to pause this movie for a little notice from Skittles.
Yes. But fortunately, of course, the only thing that will keep Mac and his family alive is the great taste of Coca-Cola.
I beg to differ.
Huh?
The only thing that keeps them alive, and this is true even on their own planet, it's the only invention they have.
Oh, yeah, the straw.
It's the drinking straw.
Yep.
Without the straw, we'll die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guess what's going to happen? Because out in the desert, we don't have straws. So there's a scene, and I would like if maybe you can explain this to me. I'm betting you can't. But there's a scene where Mac has been found, and he's more or less in the house, and he's the best. Well, never mind the fact that he's called Mac. They never make any mention of it. Like you said, it's like he's a mysterious alien creature, and then from then on they just call him Mac, which they don't explain. One day, young Eric wakes up, gets out of bed, and he comes out and finds that their backyard has been recreated in their living room. And there's holes drilled in the wall. And there's a hole being cut in the door.
Yeah.
Why?
Pardon?
I said why. Why is this happening?
You see, I don't know. And and Mac has apparently moved like a couple of multi-ton boulders into the house. What gets me is the mom thinks the kid did it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. You think even an adult human without a wheelchair could move what has to be a 1.5 ton boulder into your living room without destroying the walls, and somehow got a hold of the power tools you left lying around?
Well, we did at least see the saw earlier. We saw Michael use the saw, and he used it totally safely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the mother's reaction doesn't make any sense. They're trying to do a little bit of the mom from E.T. again. It's like, I just can't handle this. But mostly it's just like, oh, you guys, I just don't need this right now.
Yeah, well, besides the fact that we never in the film see Mac or any of the aliens display any kind of powers that would allow them to do this, there doesn't even seem to be a point. Now, somebody who likes Mac and me, nope, nobody responded. Yeah. Somebody who likes Mac and me might say, well, he was trying to recreate where his family is. Okay, he hasn't found out that that's where they are yet, and this looks nothing like that. There are no big windmills or anything.
Yeah.
So I could not parse that scene. It made no sense to me. Mac.
Yeah, does not make any sense at all.
Nope. No idea.
Neither does most of this movie. I mean, it just doesn't. They don't even try, really, for any kind of cohesion or internal consistency.
Well, the movie's really utterly directionless, right? Yeah. Like, there's no... I mean, I will admit I didn't see the end coming.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
But anyway, we got
to talk about that. We're running out of time, but
it's true. But
so basically, Eric and his crew, which is now Michael, Courtney, Debbie's apparently hot sister, who Michael is now deeply in love with for reasons.
Well, she works at McDonald's.
Yeah, she does, and he's a teenage boy, so
yeah.
They go and find Mac's family, who have tucked themselves into one of California's many random external mine shafts.
Well, that's where Jim Backus lives.
Sure. Well, I was just glad they didn't run into the ghost of the miner 49er. And apparently, did you know doves live in mine shafts?
Sure.
Yeah. They, of course, revive them with Coca-Cola, stuff them in the van, go off, then they somehow wander into a supermarket.
Well, and they're trying to keep the aliens from doing stuff in the car, and they're sort of, they start playing Simon Says, at which point I screamed out at the movie, Simon Says, shove your hands up your ass, because
that would, yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable response. And then somehow things escalate to where they're shooting.
Yeah,
and these,
at the supermarket.
Yeah, and the dad alien grabs one of the guns and is just waving it around like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are very advanced people.
Yeah. And the police freak.
Yeah, the police freak out, and suddenly there's a massive explosion, the cause of which I'm not entirely sure.
Melons.
Yeah, just
it's
the
melons.
Cars. Yeah, melons, or I'm betting it's Coca-Cola because of the awesome power of Coca-Cola.
It got too close to the melons.
It did. and Eric is killed.
Yeah.
Sorry for the spoiler. I don't mean he's like knocked out or hurt. He's friggin' dead.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The alien. Then there's all this fire, right, from the explosion.
Yep.
Well, fire. We're talking like Birdemic fire here.
Yeah, I think this is where some of the budget
Greek fire, which is a bad thing because it sticks to things and burns. This is Birdemic fire, which doesn't actually cause heat or anything.
Apparently the aliens are immune to fire suddenly.
But the aliens walk out of the fire as if it's not there.
Yeah,
hint,
which it isn't.
Hint, which it isn't. And nobody does anything. Like, nobody reacts to them coming out at all.
Nope.
And they come over to little Eric, and they all make the universal space hippie symbol of I reach man.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, Herbert. I was also pointing out when you do the palm, the heels of the palm together and the fingers open, that's the Ferengi greeting.
Is it?
It is from Deep
so we have
Space
two
Nine.
Star Trek references here, although one of them was not real.
And they bring him back to life. Now,
Sure.
I would like to point out, this is another piece of trivia I was saving for this.
Oh, good.
There is a difference between the U.S. release and the Japanese release of this movie.
Ah.
Several, actually. One is, for some reason, the opening scenes on Mac's home planet are tinted blue. During the climax of the film, this was actually filmed, but they don't show it, a policeman trips and fires his gun and shoots Eric in the chest. That's why he's dead.
Oh.
Yes, the subsequent explosion does not show him slumping in his wheelchair because he's already dead. After that incident, the doctor that runs up to help is shown with blood all over his hands.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And also, before Mac and his family heal Eric, the father is shown extracting the bullet from the body and throwing it away.
I see.
Yeah. Make of that what you will.
I can't. They already did.
Yeah. And this is, to me, that was like, oh yeah, E.T. can heal a cut finger. This guy can raise the dead. Suck it, E.T.
Well, and I was trying to figure out what killed him because it was like, it wasn't the force of the blast because his wheelchair doesn't even fall over.
He's not knocked out of the wheelchair, yeah.
No, and he's not burnt.
He was shot, apparently.
He was, I'm going to go with plotted to death.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's the actual end, the finale. Which is another ripoff, by the way, of a movie that came out the same year. Did you catch this?
No, I probably did. I did. No, I did.
It's the non-human being sworn in as an American citizen because the same year this came out, Short Circuit 2 came out, which ends with the robot being given American citizenship.
Ah, that's why I didn't catch
it. We see the aliens who have been dressed up like the cast of Leave It to Beaver. Apparently, no one could find them clothes from the 1980s, which maybe they should be grateful for.
Yeah.
Taking the oath of citizenship, despite the fact they can't speak and can't say I do. I guess they just whistle. And then driving off in, what do they drive off in?
I forget because I don't care.
A pink Cadillac.
Oh, that's right. And they don't play Pink Cadillac, which is just as well, because that's a euphemism.
Yeah. And we get the "we'll be back," and I'm just sitting there going, no, you won't.
Yeah. And there's other questions I would ask, like, why does Mac even stay with the kids? There's literally nothing keeping him there. He tries to get away, and then, of course, Eric wants him to stay, and then he goes to bed, and the alien, there's no fence, there's no dog, there's nothing.
There's no sense of bond between them either. I mean, it starts off with Eric assaulting him by trying to succeeding in sucking him into a vacuum cleaner, which Debbie is wearing on her back for some reason, and gets thrown around the living room and should have been, in a coma by the end.
Like we were. Ooh, sorry about that. Well, they're playing, Simon Says, in the car, and they're talking to the aliens, and then they're at the supermarket, and all they do is keep screaming at the cops, they don't understand you, they don't understand you. They don't understand you either, or they're just not listening. Or they can only hear, because that wasn't annoying.
And that's the thing, they can understand.
Yeah.
When he talks to Mac understands what he's saying. He responds, positive, negative, pointing at stuff. So does the older one.
Yeah.
They do understand. They're just apparently being really, really friggin' dense.
Well, I think you're just being too picky, Max. You should give this film some leeway. After all,
I shouldn't. Well, sorry, I know I'm still giving it away. But speaking of which, there's other stuff, but I can't do anymore. Can we just finish up?
Well, have you taken your pills?
Yes, I've taken the bad-tasting candy that Dr. Nice Person gives me.
They're Skittles.
The finish.
So, Max.
Yeah.
Had you seen Mac and Me before this? I'm going to guess no, or you wouldn't have seen it again.
I had not. I would not have even suggested seeing it, no. I'm guessing you didn't either.
Nope. I had never heard of it. I'm not also looking to change the name of the show to Mac Mike Movies.
Thank God.
But what did you think, Max? This lovely tale of children and aliens and
this has so little effort made in it. The whole thing is just lazy. No offense to Christine Ebersol, she tries, but even she's kind of phoning it in because she knows what she's in. She knows what this movie is. The only people who put in any effort? The dancers. In that one highly choreographed McDonald's dance numbers, they're really trying.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Well, no, it isn't, because it's terrible. But it's a minute and a half or so. Oh, God.
Felt like a lot longer than that.
No, that's the other thing. The pacing in this movie is glacial. And it's not that long. It's like an hour and 39 minutes.
One of my notes was, I'd say the movie is a little over an hour too long.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's an hour or 30 minutes too long. We could have done the whole thing in a sketch.
Yeah.
Very, very bad. No, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not.
Yes, you have to! You have to ask me.
Oh, all right. What did you think, Mike?
It has all the magic and wonder of an inflamed boil.
Yeah.
It's just... there's no direction. We don't know where the film goes, is where it wants to go. The fact that it ends up in a courtroom with them being sworn in to be U.S. citizens, I admit, didn't see it coming.
No.
Don't care. Nobody's reacting to them. Like, the FBI guys show up because they don't want to be late to want to witness this act of...
An act of magic.
I don't know. And there's no scientists around them at all. There's never once a scientist trying to get to the aliens. It's just these literally, like... Clem and Stewie have taken, I don't know, I just made the names up, have taken the
Victory is mine.
I'd rather see him. I don't even like that show. These two bumbling FBI agents are chasing after them for no particular reason because they're not trying to go after the three other people.
You notice, by the way, how variable their running speed is? At one point, they cannot catch a kid in a wheelchair. At another point, they can keep up with a truck.
Yeah. I mean, whatever.
By the way, Michael must have phenomenal upper body strength, because they're driving alongside Eric and Mac in their wheelchair. They drive up inside with a van, and Michael grabs the wheelchair, just bending out of the van, picks it and Eric up and scoops it into the van.
Yeah, I should have freeze framed to see the large Popeye-like hairy arms that were actually doing that.
I was waiting to hear.
Eat your spinach, kids.
It's to save Mac.
The movie is also just utterly joyless.
Yeah.
There is nothing happy, fun. I mean, I literally don't think there was a point. Yeah, don't. Luckily, it's hard to see this film.
Yeah.
We both watched the same version from YouTube. Apparently, it's on something called Freevee or something.
And a couple of the other odder ad-supported streaming services, but you will not find it on any of the ones with any class.
With a K.
The one place you will find it, by the way, and now I kind of want to go watch this. This gets the riffing treatment from Mystery Science Theater 3000, season 12. It's part of the Gauntlet.
Yeah, I can see this as being part of something called a Gauntlet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, two big no's.
No.
And it is a big nose, isn't it?
No. Your nose is going to be 3 feet across your face in a minute, mate.
But we would like to say yes to something. So let's say yes to our poll question. Max, could you go over that again and let people know how they can answer it?
I will indeed. What movie has the most egregious product placement? The kind that just took you right out of the movie. And you can tell us by emailing us directly at us@maxmikemovies.com. You can go to our website, maxmikemovies.com. Thank you,
Kristen.
Kristen, honey, we're rolling. That will never not be funny. Yes, maxmikemovies.com, and leave a comment. You can engage with my nemesis Snowy.
He's not your nemesis.
Yes,
He's a very nice person.
We are now locked in a game to the death.
No, he just writes comments on the website
and throws penguins at me.
He's in Canada. He can't hit you.
I didn't say he could hit me, but he is throwing them. I'm sure he is. There are a lot of penguins in Canada. I read that somewhere. Don't dispute me. You can also find us on the Facing Book under Max Mike Movies, and you can leave a comment there. We always post the poll question there. And, of course, finding us on the podcast app of your choice becomes easier by the day.
Yeah.
But we're not done yet. We're only about halfway through.
There's much more pain to come. Well, I mean, more movies to come.
Next week, Mike again gets the good one, or at least the successful one. What are we going to watch, Mike?
Yeah, I was sort of pondering about this. Which direction do I want to go? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Do I want to do the other thing? And I think I'm going to go with something we haven't done yet in this series, and I haven't done actually in general in a long time. I'm going to go with something animated.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a film where a large, loud, rock and roll based actor gets to play a Chinese panda.
Again?
This trick never works. Messing up my sleeve. We're going to watch Kung Fu Panda. Which is a film from, was it SKG?
No, it was it was DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. Yeah, SKG DreamWorks. And it's Jack Black playing a character who's ostensibly Chinese. We'll have to see if that's troublesome or not. But it does have James Hong in it, which quite honestly can save nearly anything.
And Jackie Chan.
And a couple of other people who also are Chinese. And of course,
that famous Chinese actor, Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, in a role that will surprise you if you haven't seen it. And then we're going to follow up with,
no, it's going to be a surprise.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, there is a little, what we're calling mockbuster. There's a mockbuster of Kung Fu Panda. But kick, punch, it's all in the mind until next week on Max Mike Movies.
This has been a co-production of The Voice of Max and The Movie Wrench.